Hi, this is Ronnie and welcome to my channel and welcome to the Scrap 5 Challenge. This month the challenge is to use border punches or decorative scissors, die cuts, washi, stamps, and a minimum of 5 papers. Yeah, I thought the minimum of 5 might be a little hard, so I chose to do a grid layout and make sure I had 5 on there. Well, I have more than 5, but it says minimum of 5 papers. I'm showing the dies that I'm thinking about using. I don't use all of them, but I do use a few. And here's the pattern papers I've chosen to use. And one of them has like a quilt thing or something on there. It's got lots of different colors of paper, and I will cut a few of them out of there. And I'm showing other things I was thinking about using. And you know what? I forgot about those pinwheels. I might have used one on there. I laid everything to the side and didn't bring it all back over. Oh, I'm showing there that my paper for some reason is damaged on that end. It's like all chewed up. So I'm going to leave the striped paper up there at the top and trim off the bottom instead of trimming the branding strip off. And then I'm going to put stuff down here at the bottom. This is my punch, and that's one of the things you have to have. And right now, I'm just going to move it like one. See how I'm looking at the punch there and making sure I had it lined up right, and see the right there in the middle, it's all done right there together. If you take and just move over, instead of the holes being on the shiny part landed on the painted part, you can do one right after the other and have really close together. But you can only do it on ones like this where everything is separated. You cannot do it when it's connected. But I thought I'd show it on here. And my plan, though, was to get it over to the right just a tiny bit more, because the camera strip that I'm going to add, it's got a hole in there because it was a border strip on a paper and a paper pad, and it was Chamel. And I fussy cut it out in the plans on using it as a border, but of course I got to cover that hole up. And I am going to cover it up, but I thought, well, if I had that right there, part of it could kind of nestle over the top of the end of that, but I would have liked it over just a little bit to the right, but I did get off on it. And here is my washi. So that's another thing down. Borders, punches, and washi is down. And really, I already have 3 pattern papers because the one with the camera is pattern papers. I've just fussy cut it out. And there I'm debating which way I wanted the arrows to go. And I decided I wanted them to go to the right, and I'm going to make my pictures kind of go to the right. And the pictures are of Luke, and he's learning to walk. And the title's going to be He's on the Move. And then there's going to be a subtitle, too. And that washi, I folded it over the white paper. I wanted it to show up really good, and it's a lot of the same colors as in the camera, so I did put it on the white cardstock so that it would. And I'm moving my pictures around because I wasn't quite 100% sure where I wanted them, and I thought, well, I will just go ahead and mat them and have that done with, and then I can go on from there. I'm going to mat them on the white first, and then I'm going to mat them on that black and white paper. My sister got me a paper pad that was full of black and white paper for Christmas. So I've got plenty to use. It's kind of on the thin side, but that's great because I'll be using it for layering. And it'd just make my layout heavier if the paper was heavier. And I wouldn't have as much either. She'd probably only got me like a dozen sheets instead of getting me the paper pad. And I'm sure the reason she got it was because one day she called and she said, "What are you doing?" And usually I just say I'm scrapbooking or whatever. And that day I said I was hunting a sheet of black and white paper. I said I was wanting a diagonal sheet. I said because I wanted it for the background. I was going to frame the paper, and I couldn't find one. Anyway, so now I got plenty to choose from. I've got straight stripes, diagonal, and all kinds of designs. And this one here that I'm using right now, it's got little stars all over it. And I'm checking the paper here to see if I want to use anything off of that sheet to go underneath my pictures, and I decided no, but I am going to use 3 different squares, and they're actually squares, for the other spaces on my grid layout. And so it's not going to be a very formal grid, but I like them better when they're not. But since I took and put like 3 borders down there at the bottom, it didn't leave me as much space up here. So I needed to fill in the spots in between the pictures, and that's why I ended up with those squares. I thought, well, they look like they're going to be just the right size. And sure enough, they were. And yeah, all I need is 3. And I'm going to use them for my clusters. I'm going to have 3 clusters. Well, I'm going to have a title and subtitle in the clusters too. And I guess the 3rd one's got a few words also. So I'm going to put quite a few words on here. I didn't want the cream color to show. There was cream around these, and a lot of times I don't care whether it does or it don't, because it's just another color to me. But this time I decided I wanted to cut it off. And this is a die set, and it's got play, and it's like Scrabble, little Scrabble tiles. And if you cut them out and then you ink the letters play while they're still in the dies, then the letters will show up instead of them like just being embossed. The letters will show up. So I'm going to do them. I think it's called Mediterranean Blue. That's close to my heart. And I suppose I could have still ran this through. Well, I'd had to get my big shot out. Well, not out. I would just had to go over where it's at and use it so I could use the pad for the embossing, because I don't have anything this small for this little cuddle bug. But yeah, I could have embossed it and had them stood up a little bit and inked, but you can ink them without embossing them. And I'm taking my little Tim Holtz piercer and I'm just pushing them out, because I guess they made it where they'd stay in there really good, so you could do those things to it. But now I'm taking the ink off of them because I don't want to put them away with the ink on them. I did think about inking the edges and just taking my pad and going around the edges, but then I decided I'd go ahead and mat them on this blue paper instead. And I think I used the paper on underneath one of the pictures. I did use it underneath one of the pictures, so it will be repeating the same color. And I can't tell if I used them. Oh, I did use that under a few other things as layers. And I'm just cutting them apart, and they are going to be just a little bit wide for my square. And so I'm going to put 2 up on foam tape so they'll set over the top of the other 2, and they'll fit better. They're still hanging off a tiny bit, but they'll fit better. And this is where my subtitle's going to go. And my subtitle's I'm going to take the branding strip, because this is Chamel Go Now Go, and I think a couple of other collections, because I keep all the Chamel together after I've used a bit of it, and then I can mix and match. And so, yeah, it's kind of mixed and matched in here. So my subtitle is going to be from the branding strip, Go Now Go, and then play from the Scrabble looking tiles, Sweet Baby Boy. And there I'm trimming up the matting on my title, and that is actually my title, that he's on the move. And then I'm going to put a little circle that says to the moon. I thought that was kind of on the funny side. Well, you know how kids are, they can imagine it. I had one grandkid that would jump from the couch to the chair to the ottoman and the love seat, and he was trying to stay off the floor because it was full of gobbledygook. I'm not sure what show he was watching and got that from, but yeah, he'd just go from one to the other and never touch the floor, and do that for, a good while before he'd get tired of it. And me, the scrapbooker that I am, this was before I started scrapbooking, and I would have loved to have took a picture of that memory. If I find a picture along the way anywhere when I'm going through all these pictures, because I did not get them all developed, I had CDs made, so there's some that I haven't seen, but if I see him going from the couch to the chair or something, I am going to use it for a scrapbook page and do the memory of the gobbledygook. And I think I got off track here. I don't even know where I'm at on the layout. I am working on the subtitle, and I took a die and cut out sweet, And I am going to have a few dies on here, 1, 2, 3 right there on that one. But I'm only going to have one stamp. But it's on here, and it is a stamp. And it's 2 words, so I think it counts because it's You Rock. So I think it counts as multiples. Maybe. What do you all think? I looked through a few stamp sets, and I had that one big one even, and I looked at everything on there. It was all about boys. And no, I couldn't find one that I wanted to use on here. Of course, I had so much on here by then that I didn't have much to choose from as far as space to put something else on here that was a stamp. That sweet, I'm nestling it right in with the play, and it is going to cover the number 2 up, but you can still read everything, so I thought it'd be okay. They made that T really tall. And normally I really like that. Well, I like it nestled in there under the play anyway. And here I cut out the baby, and I wanted that, it's kind of a really light red. It's not exactly pink. Maybe a raspberry, muted raspberry. It had it, I'm going to have it in a couple other places. So I am going to have it 3 places on here, but I wanted to make sure I had an offset color, something else to give it some contrast, because everything was looking blue on there. And I do cut out a star, and I make sure I cut the pinkish red stuff around it on there too. And later I'm going to make a tag, and the heart's going to be that color. Oh, here's where I'm cutting out that star. And it is going to go right up there on the right-hand corner. I'm not going to end up moving it anywhere else. And the little tag's going to go over to the left. I'm going to make sure there's a little tag in each one of them. And they're the cutest little tags. They're by Sizzix, and they're the Thinlits, they call them. And they're by Stephanie Barnard. Offhand, I don't have it here where I can read it, and so offhand I'm not exactly sure what her last name is, but it's something like that. But see how they're so tiny? Oh, I thought they were just adorable, and I had to buy it because they had a little stamps to go in there too. And I probably should have used a stamp on a little bit bigger one, because this one barely fit. So I am going to end up putting another tag with it and put them both on in the same twine. I stamped first because if I cut it first and try to stamp on it, chances are it's going to be crooked. I mean, big chance, probably about 75 to 80% chance. I mean, every now and then I get it right. But if I stamp it first and then I lay the die where I want it and put some washi tape on it, I got a lot better chance of being a straight. I've had these dies for a while. They were like some sale that Hobby Lobby was having, and they were like $20 to start with, because that is quite a few dies in there. But they were like $4.99, $95, something like that. And I fell in love with them anyway. So I would have probably used a coupon and got them. Of course, I would have had to pay more, but I probably would have still got them. And I really need to order me some more of those magnetic sheets. I have used them all. I'm thinking about combining some more of them so that I'll have more stuff on the magnetic sheet and they'll go farther, and I won't have to buy no more. Well, I probably will. I still got plenty that needs to go on there. And I bought 50. Of course, they're 5 by 7. However, before I bought them a while back, it may have been a couple years ago, I bought a roll off of Amazon. And that roll is not very magnetic at all. They were always falling off of them. So other than the bigger die sets, I quit using them on the smaller ones. And coming up on the screen now is where I forgot to turn the camera back on. Phone rang, I answered the phone, and while I was on the phone, I thought, oh, the camera's still on. So I turned it off. Well, since I was still sitting in the chair and sitting right there at my desk when I hung up, I just went right back to cutting out dies and, well, cutting out paper with dies and putting twine in them and all that stuff because they were tags. But yeah, I lost a bit of footage there. But it was all prep things for the little clusters on my grid layout. So you didn't miss a whole lot. It was stuff that y'all knew how to do anyway. And there I didn't think I needed the whole thing, so I just cut out part of it because that tag's going to be down under there and everybody will just think the whole thing's there anyway. And that tag says the sky's the limit, and then it has it looks like a blimp to me. So, but it looks like a space age blimp. And of course it says the sky's the limit, you rock and go. So my little mess was driving me crazy. And I cleaned up a little bit, but I went ahead and cut that out since y'all know how to clean up too. If you want to clean up more, you can come visit me. I get pretty messy while I'm scrapping, but I do like to clean up when I get done. So everything still isn't laying there when I go to do the next layout. Now, if I did all the layouts with the same kit, I might leave it for a while, but I would clean my little area off anyway. And here, that was not long enough for me to punch it out. So I stuck it to my list that I'm supposed to use for the Scrap 5, and it has a sticky note, and it really helps. It goes ahead and gives you that little extra piece of paper to go ahead and punch out what you need to punch out. And that list is on a paper pad that Moira made, and I have used it already so many times. I just love those big sticky notes. And see, there's my list. If I could read it, I'd read it off to you, but it's kind of on the fuzzy side on this little screen. But let's see. Okay, looking at my layout, starting at the bottom. Borders, washi tape, die cuts, 5 pattern papers, and stamping. Yep, I got all 5. So I am good to go. And we are getting close to being done on my layout. I think this is the last cluster that I do. And I don't think I put anything on any of the other clusters either. I think I've got everything I want on them. So yeah, this is the end of the layout. And I achieved the challenge too. So that's always good. I know there's been times that I had to go back because I did not realize I forgot something. But I think the Nouveau drops is actually the last thing I do. And these are the ones that dry translucent. So in the pictures, since everything was still wet when I took the pictures, they're probably going to look a little milky, but they are clear, pretty clear now. They look like little raindrops on there now. But that's it. That's my layout. Be sure to check out the other gals. Their links will be down below. And it is an awesome list of gals, and they're sure to have awesome layouts. It's ones I watch all the time. And Becky Back, My Creative Life, is the one hosting this and doing all the coordinating and all the work. And her list, she's down there on the list too because she's going to have a layout too. But here's my little clusters, and that boy, I think that might have been part that got cut out. It's that Martha Stewart punch that has the alphabet. And there's my stamping. See it right there. You rock. And yeah, the 3 pictures of him walking and stepping away and being on his own. Yeah, I love it when kids are that age and they're getting adventuresome and they're learning to walk. It is just so cute. And we get so excited. Oh, it's awesome. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. And if you leave a comment, I'll get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And if you subscribe, go hunt for the video that says layout, share, and giveaway, because you can get in on it all the way to the 1st of the month. And all you have to do is be subscribed and leave a comment on that video. But I hope y'all have a happy scrappy week. Bye.